This is an Action News special report with co-anchors Francesca Fabulosa and John Smith.
Thank you, Henry. This is Francesca Fabulosa.
And I'm Beldronicus Whiteman. You're not even trying anymore, are you, Henry?
Nope.
Donald Trump couldn't pay the legal judgment against him to the tune of nearly $500 million. So a New York appeals court reduced the financial burden down to just $175 million, handing Trump a much-needed victory. It also means that Georgia DA Letitia James cannot begin seizing Trump's assets and selling them off to raise the money to cover the original judgment. Do these courts not understand the purpose of these harsh judgments are punitive? The idea is to punish Trump for his career criminality and corruption. Yet these courts seem to be willing to bend over backwards to relieve Trump of as much justice as they can by reducing and delaying per Trump's request to sidestep any rulings that are not in his favor. Here's an idea: if you're going to find Trump guilty and punish him, then punish him and stop kissing his ass on appeal. I'm sure I speak for many Americans when I say Donald Trump doesn't deserve special treatment. He deserves jail. Stop fondling his eggs and telling him how special he is and lock him up. You pussies!
That needed to be said. Now, let's get to the headlines.
A new system of measuring the stupidity of a thought or idea was introduced this week by the American Standards for Weights and Measures that they've named the Trump Scale. The Trump Scale measures the value of a thought or idea by assigning it a member of the Trump family. For example, an Ivanka is not a bad idea and actually has some merit. An Eric is a bad idea that's probably best forgotten. A Don Jr. is a terrible idea and will probably blow up in your face, and a Donald is the worst idea imaginable and will most likely land you in jail. The need for such a system isn't clear, but the concept is still gaining in popularity more every day.
I guess that makes the Trump Scale idea an Ivanka.
Very good, Belle.
The ongoing problems with mid-air malfunctions continues for the Boeing Aircraft Company when last week an access door fell off in flight on a 737 flight from Boston to Dulles Airport. The door, which led into a storage compartment, came off the airliner due to a faulty bolt and killed one crewman. Had the door come off in an area filled with passengers, any number of people could have died by being sucked into space due to a loss of cabin pressure. Fortunately, this did not happen, but our thoughts are with the family of that one unfortunate crewman. I guess the lesson here is, don't lose your door at all, and no one will get hurt.
I'm sure you're not making a joke at the expense of that unfortunate crewman, are you, Belle?
No, certainly not.
Why don't you just read your copy?
Yes, well, an inexplicable weather event took place in the mountainous region of Purgatory, Arizona, last night when a fall of tiny gold pebbles rained down on the little town for 3 minutes. Gold was literally falling from the sky, which prompted the residents of the sleepy little town to run outside with pots and catcher's mitts and anything they had in which they could collect the free falling wealth. No hypothesis has been offered to explain the miraculous event, but whatever caused it has made the residents of Purgatory richer by many thousands of dollars each. The total value of the gold fall has been calculated at about $9.4 million of free gold. Naturally, the state government has ordered the residents of Purgatory to turn in all the gold they collected, which has set up the beginnings of a protracted legal battle to determine ownership of what falls from the sky.
Why doesn't gold ever rain from the sky where I live?
All we ever get falling from the sky around here are Boeing crewmen.
Belle, don't ad-lib. You suck at it. Right. An eccentric old woman who'd lived alone for the past 47 years left her entire fortune, in excess of $3 million, to her pet rabbit, Cuddles. The rich rodent will be provided for the rest of his life, after which the balance of the money will be reallocated to an organization that restores historically significant outhouses. What's an historically significant outhouse?
You know, like where Lincoln or Washington or Grant relieved themselves.
Is there a demand for that kind of history?
There must be if people are willing to donate their pet's inheritance to finance it. At any rate, that concludes the headlines for tonight. Next, we're going to take a probing look into the decline of the Republican Party. At one time, a party of conservative hard-asses resistant to change but were capable of being reasonable. They could be worked with to pass needed legislation like Social Security Medicare, and the ACA. Now, that same party is determined to cut funding or repeal all of those same programs along with many other needed programs that many Americans depend on to survive. At one time, the Republicans working alongside the Democrats passed all the legislation they now target to eliminate. They treat these programs like mistakes they made in the past that they now want to correct, no matter how many people are hurt by it.
The most precipitous decline of the GOP can be traced back to the rise of Donald Trump. Although the Republicans had been getting more and more unreasonable over the years, it was Trump and the influence of the MAGA movement that drove them over the edge. What hadn't been expected, however, was the willingness of the entire conservative voting public to be so eager to jettison the freedom and democracy upon which this country was founded. That, along with Trump's fan base of over 70 million followers, many of whom were registered Republican voters, gave MAGA a huge head start. The MAGA movement has not only facilitated the decline of the Republican voter, but also the decline of the Republican representative in Congress. The population of conspiracy theory lunatics, paranoiacs, vengeance seekers, and corruption in the GOP is overwhelming. Finding a Republican in Congress who's sane and reasonable anymore has become as unlikely as taking a selfie with Bigfoot.
What was it about Donald Trump that created all this chaos in a party that previously had an established agenda that was over 200 years old? Certainly, political cowardice had a lot to do with it. The failure of the Republican leaders to take action to rid themselves of Trump's influence when they had the chance. Twice. Can't be overlooked. But the true source of the problem was Trump himself. His mental issues are severe and mostly undiagnosed and untreated when he was handed the power of the presidency. To discuss at greater length what afflicts the ex-president and, God forbid, possibly the next president, our man in the field, Michael Bendix is asking questions. Michael.
Thanks, John. This is Michael Bendix, reporting live from the Medical World facility in Los Angeles, California, where we're speaking to the psychotherapy expert in residence and author of the best-selling self-help book, How Crazy Are You Really, Dr. Gunter Meinheim? Dr. Meinheim, thank you for taking time to speak with us today.
Of course, always willing to make mine expertise available for public unification.
Yes. Well, can you give us some insight into what exactly is wrong with Donald Trump? The man seems less than stable in more ways than anyone can count.
Yeah, he's quite a case. In order to diagnose Trump, we must determine what is wrong with him. What drives his behavior? Does he suffer from something congenital or is it organic? One thing is for certain, Trump is a very sick man.
Ha 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 ha.
That's so funny.
Your accent is kind of comical.
In what way?
I also can't help but notice you're very short, too.
I will to see what these has to do with anything.
Ha 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 ha.
Stop laughing. This is very serious stuff. This man wants to be president and he's crazy.
How tall are you? I mean, do you even break 5 feet?
I am as tall as God made me.
I think my kid brother is taller than you, and he's only 12.
I am a graduate of the Oslo Polytechnic School of Medicine and have won more awards of excellence than you have teeth. Show me some respect.
Oops, got your nose. I got your nose.
You do not have my nose is on mine base just as it should be.
Michael, what are you doing?
Yeah, Mike, maybe making fun of the expert guest isn't such a great idea.
Interview him, Michael. Be professional.
Of course, yes. Well, Dr. Meinheim, what exactly is wrong with Trump? What sort of mental disorder does he suffer from?
You're not going to make fun of me anymore.
No, sir. I apologize for that. It was childish and unprofessional.
You're not going to straighten my nose.
No, sir. I promise. I won't threaten your nose again.
Very well. That's more like it. I diagnosed Trump to be a malignant narcissist. He displays sociopathic tendencies on his emotionally underdeveloped with the maturity level of a child of 6. He is incapable of empathy, which makes him undesirable to hold the nuclear codes.
Ha 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 ha!
What are you laughing at now?
Mike!
I can't help it. He's like a cartoon character. He should be psychoanalyzing Bugs Bunny.
I am not a cartoon. I am a man.
Are you sure about that?
I have never been treated so shabbily.
Well, then you're just not getting out enough, or you would be.
I will tolerate these no further. I'm leaving.
I'm out of here too. I'll be at the bar on 34th.
Take it, Francesca.
Well, we seem to be having technical difficulties with the satellite feed. Maybe we can pick it up again at a later date.
Or when Michael sobers up.
That's it from all of us at Action News. Good night.
Good night.
We're clear.
Well, that's another fiasco in the can. I think we should change the name of this operation to CNN.
CNN?
Yeah, the Crap-Ola News Network.
Maybe Michael has the right idea. Let's just go drown our sorrows in a few shots of wild turkey.
That idea is a solid Ivanka. I'll hail the cab.
I'll get my coat.
Maybe some sex.
I'll let you know in about an hour.
Now, this looks promising.
I am not a cartoon. I am a man.
Will Francesca and Beldronicus have drunk sex tonight? Will they show up to work tomorrow flush with guilt and uncomfortable around each other? I hope so. We need a good laugh around here. And yes, I can pronounce Beldronicus Whiteman with no problem. I only mispronounce it because it pisses him off. But don't tell him.